much superior to that of any other similar design of the Luftwaffe era, which was desperate for it to enter service, but failed to do so in time before the German surrender. The Dornier DO 335 field was far superior to any other similar design of the time, due to its uncommon arrangement of its tractor-pusher propulsion and the lower aerodynamic resistance of this configuration. It made it the fastest piston-engined aircraft of Nazi Germany during World War II. Welcome to a new video from Aeropedia. In 1939, Dornier was working on a high-speed bomber project named P-59, which included the assembly of the engines. In tandem, in 1940, a test plane was shown to the government to validate its concept. This had only one engine, but with a large shaft that operated a tractor propeller and another propelling one. But this project was cancelled when Hermann Göring, the head of the Luftwaffe, ordered the cancellation of all projects that could not be completed within a year. Several of the aircraft manufacturer Dornier's designs from the First World War were seaplanes and used tandem engines, such as the Dornier DO-15, the DO-26, or the famous DO-X. There are numerous advantages in this type of configuration compared to mounting an engine in a traditional way. The most important of these being that air resistance is much lower, providing better flight performance. In May of 1942, Dornier presented an improved version called DO-P-231, capable of carrying 1,000 kilograms of bombs in response to a requirement set by the Luftwaffe for a high-speed single-seat bomber. This was selected as the winner, beating designs from manufacturers such as Arado, Junkers, and Blom, earning 500 on-year contract for the development of what is now called 500O. 335 field, which means arrow in German. Months later, the Luftwaffe declared that the 500O-335 was not necessary, but there was a need for a fighter that used the same configuration. This fact delayed the delivery of the prototype due to the modifications made to adapt the plane to its new task. The first prototype flew in September 1943 equipped with two Daimler-Benz DB603A engines. The test pilots were surprised by the speed, acceleration, turn radius, and overall performance of this model. The twin-engine plane flew like a single-engine aircraft. The only weak points were its poor rear visibility and the fragility of the landing gear. On May 23, 1944, the production of the DO-335 was ordered to be prioritized. However, the main production line was going to be in Mansell, but a series of bombings in March destroyed the machinery, forcing Dornier to establish a new assembly line in other cities. The first 10 DO-335A0 were delivered for flight testing towards the end of 1944. The A0s can be considered as pre-production for flight testing, followed by the A1s, production ones. This variant was similar, only it had modified engines and two mounts under the wings where they could load bombs and auxiliary fuel tanks. Deliveries began in January 1945, but by the end of April of that same year, the United States Army had captured that factory. So only 11 DO-335A1 and 2 conversion trainers, DO-335A1-2 were completed. It's a twin-engine fighter design with tandem engines. It had a maximum takeoff weight of 8,590 kilograms and had a range of 99.419 miles with the internal fuel tanks. Its maximum speed was 765 kilometers per hour and had two anchor points for carrying up to 1,000 kilograms of weaponry plus a 30mm cannon in the front propeller axis and two 20mm cannons. Up on the hill, up on the hill. The Do 335A1 could easily outperform any Allied fighter in service. Even with a single engine, it could reach 563 km per hour. In the DO 335, the location of the drift was modified so that half of it is projected on the lower part of the fuselage. And this was done with the purpose of protecting the rear propeller from accidental hits against the ground in takeoff or landing maneuvers. The French Aspire Closterman claims to have participated in the first encounter between a 500O 335 and Allied fighters, which took place in April 1945. They were flying a 4-Hacker Tempest patrol from the Royal Air Force's No. 3 Squadron over northern Germany when, by chance, they intercepted a lone 335 flying at Mach speed and very low altitude. Despite the fact that the Tempest was a very fast aircraft, the Royal Air Force pilots were unable to reach it and couldn't even get into a firing position behind it. Only one DO 335 survives today, the second pre-production model of the A0 version. This model was assembled at the Dornier facilities on the 16th of April 1945 and was captured by the Allies on the 22nd of April that year. In 1961, it was donated to the Smithsonian National Air Museum in Washington, D.C. I hope you enjoyed this Aeropedia video. I'm Marcos. Stay tuned for more.